another day in this beautiful matrix. So today we're going to be talking about, should you follow religion? And the short answer is, that's your choice. That's up to you. It's totally up to you individually as a soul whether you follow religion. However, there might be a price to pay for that. So religion is a business, a model of fear and control. So when the Matrix was created, all right, it was put in place to keep everybody, well, disillusioned, but it also was there to keep everybody at bay from getting out of hand. Imagine 8.5 billion people on the planet. How do you keep them in control? Even though we're in a dream state, it's cause and effect, right? So how do you do that? Well, the demiurge created a religion, created the God and the devil, which is duality. I mentioned that before. Duality is everything in the Matrix. You will not find anything that doesn't have a partner in duality. So they created this God image that floats around on a cloud and just stares at people, watching what they're doing. All right, so that's, a little bit far-fetched. A little far-fetched. So it's all depends on what you want to believe. As a source, soul, that's where we come from, source. You gotta be very cautious what you believe, because you are the god and goddesses. I mentioned that before. You are the gods and goddesses that help create this matrix. Is it really that far-fetched to believe? You believe there's an invisible man in the clouds. So what's so far-fetched about what I'm trying to say? It all started back with the Adam and Eve thing, right? When they depict pictures in the Bible of Adam and Eve, they had belly buttons. Why would they have belly buttons if he created them through the sand? Through his image. You need a mother to get a belly button, correct? So where did they get that from? Well, it's just a picture. Well, they should have depicted it properly, because those were one of the clues to tell you what was the truth. We're always being told God this, God that, and the power of healing and all that. Well, let me give an example. When somebody goes to church and a priest, pastor, what have you, will tell you, oh, so and so is sick, was in a car accident, or dying of some kind of dis-ease in their body, and we need to pray for them. All right, so everybody gets together, puts their heads down, start praying to this God. Now all of a sudden they get word down the road that perhaps this particular person is healed. Well, then there must be a God then, because how would that happen? Well, there's a reasonable explanation for that. When souls get together and start putting their energy together and focus on one particular person or thing, whatever that might be, they then create energy to go to that person or thing. So they start to create. It takes just one soul in that church group to do that. If there's 2, more power. If there's 3, more power. So think about it along those lines, perhaps. What do you think about that? I don't know, but it makes sense. There's so many things you can go on and on and on and on about this religion thing. You know, another example is when, see, this is where it's controversial, because when your insurance company says your house blew up from a hurricane or a tornado, or it was an act of God. Act of God. So now we don't have to pay you. You've been paying and paying and paying and paying, but now they don't have to pay you because it was an act of God. Well, how do you know it's an act of God? How can you sit there and say it was an act of God? Did you get an email from God saying it was Him that did it? Did you get a letter in the mail stating it was from Him? If I was the person and the insurance company told me that, I'd be like, then I want a letter from this God that said that He did this. That's what I would do. Because scam alert. Another thing I just mentioned, everything here is duality. So if there's a God, there has to be a female version as well, because that's how the Matrix works. So in order to have a male God, you have to have the female goddess. Right? Everything's duality here. Everything has to have a match. So that kind of throws that theory out the window as well. I mean, you choose to believe what you want to believe, but I'm telling you, you're giving your power outside of yourself when you, in fact, are the creator. You are the power, and you're giving it away outside of yourself. Not a wise decision. Because as I mentioned before in another video, you need all your power within you. You need every single drop of it. Now here's a few more scenarios. Excuse me. Just have a drink of water. It's like 6:30 in the morning doing this. So when Christmas comes around, we've got a Santa Claus, right? We all go see Santa Claus at the mall. We put the kids on their lap and we all ask Santa Claus, what do you want for Christmas? Santa Claus agrees, you will have it for Christmas Day. And this goes to the parents, all right? And I hope there's no children around because I don't want to spoil their beliefs. And that's all they are. They're passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation, okay? Now, we all know where those presents come from, right? You, the parents, know where it truly, truly comes from. Who put up the Christmas tree, who ate the cookies, who drank the milk. We know, right? If we're being honest. But yet we're told to believe in Santa Claus. When the kids write a letter to Santa Village, a letter comes back. Interesting. But you know how they got there, those presents. You know who ate the cookies and milk. And another one, the Tooth Fairy. As we were growing up, we lost our teeth. We were told to put the teeth underneath the pillow. And Tooth Fairy would come and give us money. It'll magically come underneath your pillow and give you money. Only if you put your tooth there and only if you go to bed early. And again, to the parents. You know as well as I do how that money got there. Was it the Tooth Fairy? We know. Another one. The Easter Bunny. Right? The kids are told, oh, the Easter Bunny came and laid his eggs everywhere, the chocolate eggs and the real eggs and what have you, and you got to go hunting for them. And but we all know where the chocolate came from, and we know who put those eggs out there, don't we? We know this, right? So isn't that kind of following the same suit? That we're made to believe certain things from generation to generation, and that includes religion. Did you know, I was shocked when I found out this theory, or this status. There is over 4,000 different faiths in this matrix. Over 4,000. 4,000 plus different faiths to this day. Over. Mind-boggling. So we're all told growing up that we have to behave, we have to go to church, otherwise we're going to go to hell if we don't behave. Now, doesn't that put a kid into fear? Doesn't he start listening because he's got fear? So you see my point? Doesn't it work? To put a kid in fear that you're going to go to a burning place if you don't behave, and if you don't grow up to be good and listen to God, you're going to go and burn for eternity. Wow. And if there was such an entity out there, and he's all pure love, all knowing and love, how would you do that to somebody? Isn't it taught to forgive, that you must forgive? You must forgive. And yes, you must. That's the truth. Because if you hold that in your heart, then you're going to hold that in your soul. And it's not going to benefit you. Alright? You must forgive. And that's the truth. But you see, this whole religion thing is quite multi-purpose. Like I said, it's a business, a model of fear and control for the mass. Now we're all told, no, we have one God ruling over this world, and he will come back one day and kick some butt around and do whatever he has to do. One God. So each religion has their own God. So they believe in their religion that there's only the one God. Your God don't make sense. My God makes sense. See, again, they got you fighting against each other. So you're too busy doing that. You will never find out the truth. You know, I couldn't possibly name them all off, but I mean, you got Catholics, you got, you know, Buddhists believing in Buddha, you got the Krishna thing, you got the Jesus thing, you got, oh, it goes on and on and on and on. And some faiths believe that doing some awful nasty things will get you to heaven even further and faster. One says in one department, thou shalt not kill, and one says, kill. A little confusing, just a tad. So who are you supposed to believe in? Which religion? Which one's the real one? The Trojan horse. Alright, you got to find out the truth for yourself. All the clues were put there for you to think about. Does it really make sense anyway that the body perishes and then it just floats up to this heaven, sitting on a cloud, watching the rest of the people down here? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. And factually, if you really have done the work to wake up, again, a word I use loosely, and you know why. For those that don't, well, if you awaken, you're done your game. You're dreaming this whole thing to begin with. I had my epiphany at an early age of 13. Another time at 16, I had like this explosion of energy flow through me and I couldn't handle it. I thought I was dying. And I said, I feel like I'm in a hospital in a coma dreaming this. And that's exactly what I said at 16. Because I had this big, huge rush of energy flow through me, and it was like an anxiety, and it was too early for me, and it shows what happens when you push too hard. I wasn't looking for it. It was just this massive anger all the time in me, and sometimes that will open it up. The anger within you will be such powerful energy, it'll just poof, open up your third eye, your first eye. You listen to enough people say third eye, you start to follow that too. It's not a third eye, it's not even a first eye, it's your gateway to source. That's where your power and your movie's being played in. So it's just, crazy stuff. What should we believe in? And who should we believe in? The whole Virgin Mary story thing. I mean, wow, that's a little bit out there. I don't know. It's a bit out there. So what do we do? Well, again, if you're doing the work and you're peeling layer by layer by layer by layer of the onion, you will get to the core. Eventually you'll get to the truth. Let go of the low frequency things. Then you have to go back to the videos. I don't want to beat a dead horse. No point. But the information's there. What to do. Another thing in the Bible, it says thou shalt not kill. But they didn't tell you what thou shalt not kill. They didn't tell you humans. They didn't say if it was animals. They didn't say if it was stomping on bugs. They just said, as the Almighty, thou shalt not kill. Which means it's for all. All. But I didn't kill the animal, I'm just eating it. But you're partaking in like a system that should be stopped. Because it's going to stop anyway soon. Like, you think this institution that we're living in and governing people are doing it to just get under your skin, or do you think they're there just to cheese you off? They want to make it look that way so it looks like they're winning, but also you have to realize it's awakening time. So therefore, we're going to be doing like this, right? They're going to herd out the herd. Single them out, one by one by one. All source players, all souls, which way you want to look at it. Alright, they're going to separate the herd. Who's been doing the work and who's been trying to learn the truth and who is living by the truth, living by their power as a creator, as a source creator. That's why the Matrix Source Creator. I changed it because I thought that makes more sense. We're Matrix Source players, but I prefer to be the Matrix Source Creator, which means I create whatever goes on in my life. It's my choice now. Once you break the script, there's two scripts in this matrix. There's the governing one in the matrix, and there's yours, individual. Individually, we each have our own script. like the movies, right? The co-stars and the stars. I mentioned that before, so you have to go back if you don't understand what I'm talking about. Source, souls, whichever way you want to look at it, are the stars of the show. It just is. It's not to be ignorant and make everybody belittled. No, because all together we're united to make this game happen. I mentioned before, just because if you're non-soul, that doesn't give you the right to treat anybody like garbage. Sometimes we kind of forget that and, say things or do things we shouldn't do or say. Then you apologize for it. But never apologize for truth. Never apologize for the truth. Because, as I mentioned over and over and over, I have no stake in this. I just enjoy putting out the truth, source truth, and I enjoy doing these videos and creating. But if you want to follow religion, you be my guest. But what happens the day that you find out, oops, that was a lie? And one could say to me, how do you know one day you won't wake up and find out it was supposed to be religion and God? Well, then I guess I'll have to find that out. But I know in my soul, we, the souls, are the gods and goddesses. That doesn't mean that you can go put yourself on a pedestal and treat everybody like, as I mentioned, badly or gross. No. You be humble. Know who you are. Be proud of who you are. But you don't have to go flashing a badge. Oh, I'm a source player and I'm a soul and that gives me the right to treat you like whatever I feel like it because I'm the power. I'm the star. I promise you they will take you down faster for that. They being yourself, your subconscious, and source will not put up with that kind of stuff. You're here to experience. You're here to create. And you're here to find out the truth. That's why we're still here after hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times coming here. As I mentioned, I chose this one to really fully awaken. The last game of this magnitude. There's other games we'll be playing, of course. We never stop. We're source. We just entertain ourselves constantly. But there were so many things going in my head this morning, like, does it make sense that an almighty God would allow a car accident and take out a young child? Or give that child a very terrible sickness, a deadly one? Does that make sense? But it's supposed to be loving God, so how can that happen? Well, you have to prove yourself that you're worthy for him. I mean, my gosh, really? Really? I know there's going to be a lot of haters, and that's why I keep my comments off, because this is not about debate. This is just putting out source truth. If nobody wants to hear it, that's okay. And if for those that want to hear it and kind of have an inkling like, yeah, there's something very weird here, that's for those people. The souls that want to hear the truth and do something about it. I mean, if you really, really, really pay attention, you'll see they've been lying. It's not so much a lie. I shouldn't say they're lying. Like it's it's a machine, the Matrix. It's the Matrix. All right? It's the Matrix. It was clearly designed to do all for all players. Right? So they had you believe in this. You came in believing this, or you're going to be raised a certain way, or you're only going to make it a certain age. Alright, you may have only lived till 16 because that's what you chose as a script. But everybody wants to blame this entity outside of themselves, right? Because that's an scapegoat. It was God's fault. He did this. I know, because I went through that. But I didn't know any better at the time. A soul can never truly die. All right, that's another myth. Just because you leave your avatar, your meat suit, doesn't mean you die. You cannot die as a source player. You're just unplugging yourself from this game. That's it. That's it. Your meat suit is not yours to keep. It's your job to take care of it. Don't over abuse it. And take care of it. Eat good food. Healthy food. But it's not your job to say that it's yours to keep. It's not. Everything here gets removed one way or another in the Matrix. Which brings me into like funerals. You know, I apologize if anybody just recently is going through that. I'm not trying to create more hurt or pain. But that too is a business. A huge one. They got you coming and going like you know, like they're gonna put the Cadillacs or the BMWs of all caskets, and it's going in the ground. Save your money, your hard-earned money, save it. But do as you want. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just saying, like, it's a business. All right? A big, huge business. All of this is. The whole Matrix is based on business and deceptions and lies, and get everybody going one way or fighting against each other or whatever it is. All right? They got you coming and going. And then after the situation, you know, somebody's passed, you know, they're getting unplugged. But the thing is, sometimes, you know, they're suffering really bad. I mean, really bad sometimes. I've seen it from my own eyes. They suffer. So, wouldn't you want them to be put out of their suffering? But no, who's the real victim here? Them or the living afterwards? We take it too personally and take it to heart, and people will chew each other up because I have a right to have a bad day because I lost so and so in my family, or a friend, or a mother, or father, or a child. Yes, nobody wants to go through that. I get it. But really, there's growth there. It makes you stronger, right? Because when we lose somebody today, it's the end of the world for them. It's catastrophe. It's just like, I can't hear from that. I don't want to believe it. Yet, it's part of the process. How many people every day? How many people every day are dropping out? Being unplugged at the Matrix. And that's clearly all it is. You're getting unplugged from the program. Now, for those that believe this whole religion thing, it's going to be a different scenario for you to believe anyway. You're not going to want to believe this stuff. You'd rather believe a different illusion than believe that you're in an illusion, in a dream world. It makes it much easier for them to believe that than this one. What's the difference? Belief is belief. In the word belief, there's lie, L-I-E, in it. Words are programming. Just like when you bid somebody a good morning, you're bidding them morning. You're just made their whole day about morning. You know, this can go on and on and on with that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to do it here today. Today is about religion. And then all this wonderful praising God that you believed in all this time, right? You believed in him and you praised him and you love him and you thank him every day for the meals on your table and your, well, healthy family and friends. But then when he takes somebody away from you, oh, now you're mad. How dare you take my whoever away from me? Now you're mad at this God. But what happened a minute ago, you loved them. It's funny when you say him. Everybody says him. Duality. There has to be a partner for that. A him and a her. I'm not going to get into all this other stuff that's been going on today. I'm just not going there. Because truly, once you do your inner alchemy, you're whole and complete. You're neither. You don't need to be that dominant male, and you don't have to be that whatever on the female side, because there's two sides. When you merge them, you become whole and complete. You're doing all the work. They're not blessings and they're not healings. You, as a source player, as a soul, are doing this yourself. But when you put that energy outside of yourself, I'm telling you, you're giving away extra power for nothing. Because you are the healer within you. You are living in the universe, but what I mean by that is it's in with you. It's in you, not outside of yourself. So you're the creator. You're the universe. You're source. You're the soul. This is what this channel is about, the Matrix Source Creator. It's not about religion, but you do what you have to do and you believe what you want to believe. I'm just telling you, in this channel, this is what it is. What I'm promoting, what I'm saying, what I know within. This wrath of God thing, and it keeps you at bay. It keeps you from, it's an excuse to not do the work. For me, that's what it means. It's an excuse to not have to do the work because it's comfortable. Right? Because you think, well, if I behave and I don't do bad things, I don't break the 10 religious, whatever you call them, commandments, if I don't break those 10 things, then it's in the bag. I'm free. I'm on the way home, right? No, because the one commandment's a trick. Well, probably all of them, but thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not be an accessory to the death of anything. That goes for bugs, meat, cows, chickens, pigs. I don't care what animal it is. You're still a conspirator in that death. That frequency of that death goes in you, which you are high frequency. They cannot merge. They have to balance themselves down. They have to balance themselves. So therefore, when you bring in low vibration, and you're supposed to be a high vibration, well, now you're bringing your high vibration to the low. I'm going to be doing a video on pHs and the difference when you're eating a low pH of death and all that stuff. One day I'll be doing one of those, but for now it's about religion. And your energy that you're just spewing out to the void. And guess what? It truly really isn't your fault, per se. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility as a soul in this matrix to find out the truth. This is why we kept looping. This is why I'm still here talking. If I would have known the truth a long time ago, I wouldn't be here talking. That's it. That's the truth. I played many characters in these games. Every time I looped, they changed it up a bit. You know, one day you're a carpenter, one day you're maybe a police officer, one day you're a fireman, one day you might be a doctor, one time you might be a whatever. They change it up so that you will not have that same pattern of remembering, wait a minute, I've done this, and even though we've done that same thing over and over and over and over. That's why sometimes we get deja vu. We're playing in multiple universes, timelines, better word. You're playing in different timelines, repeating this whole thing in hopes that one of your fractal selves, one of your avatars, are going to win this game for you. So if you have 1,000 avatars, you have 1,000 times chance to win. Now, for certain people, like I said in the past, for elite source players, they have 2 players. And there was one that only had 1 life to play and won it. Many people has won it in past games. But the ascension, be careful with the ascension, because if you're doing it with religion, it's an automatically you're gonna get disqualified from winning because you fell for the Matrix religion. If you have a heavy heart and anger and hatred in your heart, the religion part is true in one part, and that's you must forgive, because you cannot go any further up with burden and hatred in your heart. The sin, right? The sin, another trap. Karma, another trap. This is what kept you looping and looping and looping, because you didn't follow the rules. They're not going to tell you when you're at the white light that this is the Matrix. You don't know yet. It's still within the Matrix. You're in the Matrix within the Matrix. And then when you go on to that white light, there's still part of the Matrix. So you don't know, hey, I'm a source player, or I have a soul and I'm playing this game as a character, as the main character in this game. You don't know that because it's still part of the Matrix. There was some kind of Star Trek thing, I think it was, or where the lady says, you're a lie, you're not my father, and all this, you're just a figment of my father. Well, that's how it is. Your supposed family on the other side that's waiting for you is all an illusion. They're not really them. When you get unplugged, and if you're a source player or a soul, again, whichever way you feel comfortable with, and you're unplugged here, and because it's the last time looping, you will go home. Any other time you would have looped back into a new birthing system, mechanism in the Matrix. So I don't know. It's your choice. You want religion? Not getting the answers you're looking for? Maybe you should start looking outside the box. Maybe you should start researching. Is it a coincidence that everybody that drops the meat and drops the booze and drops the any kind of smoking of whatever kind, I don't care if it's herbal or not, you're cheating to get the DMT in your pineal gland to open up, and that's cheating. But God put it here for us. Well, again, we already talked about that. Who and what and where. There's no other way but to do the work yourself. You have to do the work yourself. No choice. No choice. Well, you have choice. You can dismiss this, and that's okay. Again, no judgment. But it might be a price. In either case, I'm gonna let that go for now, and I can only suggest to do the work, do the research, lose the low frequency things, and then it would make sense. Right now, it's not going to make sense to the people that are not. If you're in a low vibration, how could you possibly understand what's high vibration, high frequency? How is that possible? It's not. You will not get that information in a low frequency base. The third and fourth is being shut down. So if you reside there, you do the math. One way or the other. You cannot live where they're shutting it off, right? It's like if they took a city and shut the whole city down, you can't live there. You won't be there. But really, realistically today, I mean, I don't know. Nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to know the truth. Everybody just wants to put their head in their phones, and I see every day people walking across the street with the lights, you know, staring at their phones. Like, pay attention. What if a truck ran a red light? But that's part of the matrix too, so that's part of your script. If you were removed that way, that was part of it. The only way you can have control is to lose all the things that I said. The low frequencies, the religion, and then you break your script. Whether inadvertently or deliberately, is that will determine. Anyway, if it's inadvertently, that wasn't by intent. So you have to, with intent, want to do that, but it will not happen until you lose the low frequency things, and with intent request that you want to break your script, and then you have a book. It's the same thing. You have a book, blank page now. A book that's empty. Your creation is about you now. You write down how your day is going to go. You decide what you want to do with your life and how you want to live it. Otherwise, you're governed by the matrix script, and you think, well, I'm thinking, it's in my head. I'm thinking, no, not always, and not all. For the non-souls, they're scripted machines. We're all machines here. We're all avatars. But I mean, there's no subconscious. You think you're thinking, but you don't know what they're thinking. They can tell you that, yes, I have a subconscious mind and I'm thinking and I'm conscious of what I'm saying to you, but that's the program running. You will never know subconsciously who's what unless you do the work and find out, and there's ways of doing it. But the job is to worry about yourself first of all. Get yourself in higher frequency foods, and let go of the beliefs that we've been programmed from at birth. Again, not to put the parents at fault, because they were done the same way. They were programmed as well. But stop looking outside of yourself for an entity that's not there. There's a demiurge who wrote this whole Matrix program. Some might look at him as a god, or it, because it's a program that we created. We're the creators of this. We created all of it. You know, my biggest question was, okay, if there was a God, who created God? Where did he come from? Oh, we're not supposed to know that. We're not supposed to know that kind of stuff. Yes, you're supposed to know that kind of stuff. You have a right to question everything. But where does source come from? Well, source always was and always will be, and for infinity. It just is. There's no beginning, no end. It just is. Now that's a hard thing to wrap around your head too, but we're pure energy. We're pure frequency. It's always there, always will be. Nothing can harm it. Nothing can destroy it. It's a beautiful feeling once you know. So, again, I think that's enough for now, and you know, I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth. I just want to make that very clear. I'm not going to apologize for that kind of stuff, because it is my right to put out the truth for the people that want the truth. And for the ones that want religion, well, that's on you. That's your choice, not mine. I was that person that followed it, but it was a dead end. Just constantly giving my power away, praying and believing, when you're in fact the creator yourself. If you have a soul, you are the creator. It was never one creator. It was multiple creators. All your source family are the creators of this game. Do you think they put out all these movies just because they feel like it, or it's, you know, it's fun to do sci-fi? No, they had to put out the truth in pieces of information at a time. They have lies and they have truth. And some of them just flat out tell you in the whole movie. I mean, holy moly. I love it. But that's what I live for. That's what keeps me strong and going and creating, and my power lies within me because I did the work and still doing the work. I'm still learning. I'm still a student here. You can never possibly learn it all and know it all. It's impossible. You know how much you would have to know? And then that would become an ego issue, thinking you know it all. Don't be that soul. Be humble. Be humble. But do the work. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. Nobody's business anyway. If they see a change in you and you start to feel different and you look different and you are different, and people are going to stop like, what's going on here? And it's your choice to have those people around you or not, because you'll see they'll fall off anyway. If you're the one that wants to live and be the famous guy or girl here, or be the well-known partier, or, well, this is not for you, obviously. And I'm not saying it should be or it has to be. Alright, so again, it's all choice within each other. So I will let you go for now and see you in the next video. Alright, take care.